election, this election is about a lot of things. And what it is about is, it should be about, is the rejection of the ideology being perpetrated, being advanced by the Democrat Party at all levels of government. So we'll talk about that, share that conversation as well. But I've got to start. By the way, I should start by telling you, email Todd at toddhuffshow.com. You can email me your thoughts, opinions, feedback, yes, even your adoration and praise. Additionally, you can check us out on Facebook, where we're still streaming live. Who knows what they'll do if, in the wake of this election. I put nothing past these folks. I can tell you, and some of you can echo this just from what you've experienced personally, but we have seen a change in how many folks were reaching through Facebook, and I have no reason to believe that's for anything else other than we're conservative, and what we see with the silencing of conservative messages on social media. But we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, streaming this morning. Good morning if you're watching on any of those programs as well. So I want to start here. With Nate Silver. This is absolutely astonishing to me. What they're now saying. Remember, if you look at the projections, I go back to what it was in 2016 as well, the morning of the election. So I'm telling you this, if you're a Trump supporter and you follow these polls incessantly or whatever the case may be, if you are just worried about things when you see certain, when you see certain numbers coming in, the New York Times, they actually emailed out over the weekend that Biden is up 11 points in Pennsylvania. 11 points, folks. And you look at where he is actually campaigning. I mean, he's campaigning in Pennsylvania. Why would you spend? I'm looking now, it's showing the average is Biden up 4 in Pennsylvania. Why would you spend all of your time in this state? This is where Biden is. Biden, remember, is the third senator from Pennsylvania. That's what he says. He was born and raised in Scranton. Him and his identical twin brother, Michael Scott, they were raised in Scranton, PA. Biden, for some reason, is up massive numbers of points there. Again, I think the New York Post had him up 11 in Pennsylvania. But yet this is where the guy is campaigning. Folks, this is not adding up. You look at the states that they're campaigning in. They're the states. I'm looking right here. We go. Cleveland. By the way, Biden's only going to be in 2 states today, Ohio and Pennsylvania. Trump's going to be in Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, which is, a little bit concerning, I think. If you want to know what these campaigns think, look at where they're campaigning today. Remember, I go back to 2016. All the big guns in the Democrat Party ended up going to Pennsylvania. And the big guns at the time were Barack and Michelle Obama and Bill and Hillary Clinton. You remember that? They all went to Pennsylvania. Now, Biden's in Ohio. Is there a chance Biden wins Ohio? I guess. Do I think that's likely? I don't, but heck, what do I know? We can't trust these pollsters at all. And now they're starting to backtrack. The things that they've been telling us all this time, Biden's up massive numbers of points. Remember, he was up 14 points or some stupid number here recently. Now they're starting to tell us, well, things that happen 10% of the time actually happen fairly often. What in the world? This is what I don't think Nate Silver understands statistics. That's what he says. I'm going to play this clip. It's astonishing to me. They're backtracking. They're hedging their bets. It makes you wonder if the polling, again, this is a very fair question in my estimation, and some people do not want to hear it. But I think it's a very fair question to ask, why on earth does this happen every election? Why is it that these polls seem to be used more to persuade people than to reflect what people actually believe. Because if Trump wins this election, what should happen unequivocally, undeniably, is that we should pay absolutely 0% of our attention to these pollsters. Frank Luntz is on record as saying that if the polls get it wrong in 2020, they've basically destroyed themselves and ruined their reputation. I don't know that that's going to be the case, because I think that people get caught up in the emotion of the election, and all the attention then suddenly goes to what's going to happen next. What can they do to stop Trump next? When can they impeach him next? There were absolutely no consequences for them getting it dramatically wrong in 2016. In fact, they'll tell you that they weren't really that wrong. All of their polls, it just so happened that all of their polls, it fell within the margin of error, Trump's victory. But if you paid any attention on the morning of the election last year, you would have seen that they gave Hillary Clinton something like a 98.6% chance of winning the election. Trump had a 1.2% chance or something like this. I'd have to look at the numbers, but you know what I'm saying. And then they'll say, but see, Trump still had a 1.2% chance. He didn't have a 0% chance. So we weren't wrong. What do you mean you weren't wrong? Don't act like something that has a 1.2% chance is really something that happens all the time. By definition, Nate Silver and other pollsters and other statisticians, things that happen 1.2% of the time, let me rock your world here for a second, 1.2% of the time happens one time roughly out of 100. Well, but Todd, that one election just happened to be the one. Baloney. You're going to tell me that's going to happen again? You know the odds of something in two sequential elections, presidential elections, 2016 and 2020. What are the odds that the guy who had a 1.2% chance of winning in 2016 also comes out who has a 10% chance or whatever number they're giving him this year and wins the next one as well? You know the odds of both of those things happening? I'd have to do the math on that. Somebody out there probably can. But it is astronomically low. In fact, you could say statistically approaching zero. It's like Hillary Clinton in 2016 winning all of the coin tosses. Remember that? In Iowa. Every time that there was a precinct where there was a tie between her and Bernie, she won something like 8 coin tosses in a row. The odds of that are astronomical. The odds were about as high, about the same as what it was that Elizabeth Warren should be considered a Native American. But it's astronomically high, but yet they act like, oh, well, that's just the way that it works. No, it's not the way that it works. I want you to listen to this. To say, and by the way, he says in this soundbite, Nate Silver of 538, the supposed little g god, like Charlemagne the god, the little g god of polling is out there telling us that, they've been telling us that Trump's going to get annihilated. But now he's telling us what I've been saying on this program for some time. If Biden doesn't win Pennsylvania, folks, I don't know how he wins this election. In fact, you could say if Trump wins Pennsylvania, you talk about the odds flipping completely from his predictions. I would say that Trump's odds of winning are probably 90% plus at that point. So anyway, I want to play this exchange. This is yesterday, I believe. This is Nate Silver on, what is he, with ABC, whatever their propaganda show is here with George Stephanopoulos. But listen to this exchange. I'm going to play a minute or so of this, and I just want you to hear this. I want you to listen to some of these comments, and I want you to listen if this even sounds remotely close to what you've been hearing people saying about the polls for the past several months now. Here you go.
Where's your forecast this morning?
So we have Trump with a 10% shot and Biden with a 90% shot. So 10% things happen fairly often. At the same time, you could have a polling error of the magnitude of 2016, and instead of losing all these states by a point, then Biden would win Pennsylvania by a point or two, Michigan by 2 or 3 points, Arizona by a point. So that little extra cushion, maybe people who didn't like Clinton and Trump but can tolerate Biden, might be enough, even if there is a polling miss.
On the other hand, if you had a polling error like 2012,
then you could see Biden overperform, right? He might win states like Texas, for example. By the way, in these Hispanic rich states, Democrats have sometimes beaten their polls. It's a harder group to necessarily get on the phone. And so there are like lots of upside cases for Biden. And there are also cases where he wins in a squeaker. But I'm sure everyone's kind of concerned about that 10% chance.
You tweeted the other day, you spend 90% of your time thinking about that 10%. So when you think about that and you're writing the headline, writing the story on Wednesday that Donald Trump won, what would be the key factors?
I think it would come down to Pennsylvania. The fact that, as Tom said, Pennsylvania has not bumped up to a 7 or 8 point Biden lead like we see in Michigan and Wisconsin. It's 5 points. It's not a big early voting state, so a lot of votes have not yet been cast in Pennsylvania. Among the votes that were sent in by mail, there are some provisions about a naked ballot, a security envelope. That could make things more complicated. You can have the courts involved. You have some protest looting in Philadelphia, right? There's lots of stuff going on, and maybe a lot of little things add up, and Biden loses Pennsylvania by 0.5 point, and then he doesn't quite pull off Arizona or North Carolina. I mean, he does have other options, right? I mean, North Carolina is a state where a lot of the vote is in. Obama won it in 08 when it looked very similar nationally. So that could be a problem for the GOP, Arizona. But still, without Pennsylvania, then Biden becomes an underdog.
Let's take a look at those options with Tom Yamas down there.
Did you hear that? Without Pennsylvania, Biden becomes an underdog. Does this sound anything like to what they've been telling you? Anything similar to what the pollsters have been telling all of us for the past several months? Does this sound anything somewhat even close to that? If Biden loses Pennsylvania, he becomes an underdog. And what is this comment about 10% chance things fairly often? 10% chance things do not happen fairly often. That's the point of calling it a 10% chance thing of happening. Don't try to rewrite what statistics mean, Nate Silver. If you tell me something has a 90% chance of happening, it means that if the scenario were to be able to play out 10 times, 9 times it would happen the way in which it is said to have a 90% chance of happening. If it happened 10 times, and you said something had a 10% chance of happening, if you could play through a scenario 10 times, that 10% chance thing would happen 1 time. In what universe is 1 out of 10 a fairly common or happens all the time sort of scenario? What is this guy talking about? If this is what his definitions of statistics mean, I'll tell you what this means. Trump's going to win this thing. That's what that means. If what Nate Silver is up here blabbing about, nonsensical gibberish, folks, a guy that's supposed to be the statistical genius of our day, doesn't even understand remotely what these terms mean. If what he is saying is true, it means Biden is absolutely unequivocally the underdog here. Because again, Nate Silver's a leftist. Nate Silver wants Joe Biden. That's what he wants. There's no question about this. Anyway, on the eve of the election, 2020, who would have thought? Who would have thought we end up exactly where we were back in 2016? I would even say, except this time, there's 2 factors. Trump is hated more than he was in 2016. But on top of that, there's a whole heck of a lot more energy and momentum for Trump in 2020 than there was in 2016. Look, folks, this can still go either direction. It comes down to key states and how certain people vote, who votes and how they vote, because it's a slim margin in the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, maybe even Minnesota, maybe Nevada, maybe New Hampshire, maybe Florida, maybe North Carolina, possibly Arizona. But I'm telling you what, if Trump wins Arizona, if Trump wins Florida, if Trump wins North Carolina, that's 260. That's 260 out of 270. Biden loses Pennsylvania, it's over. Biden loses Michigan, it's over. Biden loses Wisconsin, it's over. Biden loses Minnesota, it's over. Biden loses Nevada and New Hampshire together, it's over. At that point, the map plays out in Trump's favor much better than it does for Biden. Now, if Biden wins North Carolina, if Biden wins Arizona, if Biden wins Florida, that's a bad problem. If Biden, God forbid, wins Texas and Georgia, that's another big problem. But as it stands now, if Trump can hold on to Texas and Georgia and win Arizona, North Carolina, Florida, Biden has to run the table. Biden has to win every single Rust Belt state, and that is where they're campaigning. So who's on defense here? Who's worried about this the most in your estimation? Who is hitting the campaign trail with the absolute fervor, by the way? Trump's all over the place. Biden's sticking home so he can get back to the closet by dinner time. The basement, whatever. Got to take a break long in this segment. Going to come back and share a conversation I have and talk about the with Daniel Elliott, Republican Party chair here in my county, in Morgan County, talking about the importance of all the offices on the ballot tomorrow, or for those of you that have voted early, of course, on your early ballot as well. But we'll talk about that when we get back. You're listening to Conservative Not Better Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Why would you call a company called Commercial Service for your home heating, cooling, and plumbing? Same question I had, because they have provided over 70 years of quality service and trained products for both homes and businesses in Central Indiana. It's hard to stop Commercial Service, and it's hard to stop a train. Give them a call. I'm glad I did.
Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-90.
Welcome back. Again, folks, we have in many ways a repeat of 2016. Now, the result is not necessarily the same yet, but it certainly can be. And so I'm going to be off the schedule here a little bit. So actually what I'm going to do here, this segment's going to be really short, and we're going to play the interview, the following segment, because it'll keep us on track a little bit better. But we are squaring up. We are in the position exactly where we were in 2020. And I had it flipped. New York Times poll that just came out last night showed that Biden is up 5 in Pennsylvania. He's up, they say, 11 in Wisconsin. 11 points in Wisconsin. We'll see. I mean, I don't believe this. I really don't. I'm not saying that Trump will win Wisconsin, but I am having incredible doubts about Trump being down 11 points in Wisconsin. In fact, if you follow, again, there's 3 pollsters now. There's 3 pollsters who are saying that Trump is going to win this. It's not just the Trafalgar Group. It's the state polls. I had a friend text me that the other day. I think it's called State Polls is one that predicts a Trump victory. And also someone at, I have it in my notes and they're on the printer there. I can't see it from here. Susquehanna, I think, is the other one. So anyway, here we are. So we shall see how this plays out. But I want to share this conversation because it's not just, it certainly matters. President matters. Senate absolutely matters. In fact, the state polls, you want to really drive a leftist crazy. Tell them what the state polls prediction are. The state polls prediction polling group, again, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm saying that these groups are out there. They say that Republicans will actually increase the amount of seats they have in the Senate, I think to 54. That's an increase of 1, which would be remarkable in this election, given that the Republicans are playing defense and given that their seats are all up for re-election more so than anyone else's, the Democrats anyway. But anyhow, this is all the seats on these ballots matter. All the seats on this ballot matter, and I would encourage you to strongly consider. Now, I would tell you in Indiana, I hope that you strongly consider Donald Rainwater for governor. But beyond that, at least on my ballot, there was, nothing else worth looking into besides Republicans. And so voting down ballot matters in a lot of ways as well. So we'll talk about that with Daniel Elliott, our guest here after the break. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Hi, I'm Daniel Elliott, Chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party. I'm excited that Hoosier Republicans and conservatives are eager to re-elect President Trump. But as you know, this ideological battle we're fighting runs all the way up and down the ballot. That's why I'm asking you to vote Republican from the very top of your ballot all the way down to the bottom of your ballot. Every election is important, and we must win as many of these elections as possible to ensure that we defend our liberties through constitutional limited government. If you love liberty and the Constitution, I'm asking you to join conservatives all across the Hoosier State and vote Republican all the way down the ballot. This ad is paid for by the Morgan County Republican Party.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Welcome back. Special guest here with me in the studio this morning. 6-year-old wandered down here, sitting quietly on the couch. But I wanted to share with you a conversation I had with Daniel Elliott, Republican Party chair here in Morgan County. But folks, no matter where you're from, Republican Party chairs would echo these sentiments across the state. We have an ideological battle that is taking place at all levels of our government, and we need to make decisions to elect people that want limited government and who want to slow the growth, hopefully, in the best case scenario, reverse the growth and get back to true limited constitutional government. But this matters all the way up and down the ticket. So Daniel Elliott talks about that with me, and here is our conversation.
Well, it is election time, and here we are just on the eve of an election. In fact, we've got early voting happening, absentee voting, all sorts of things happening. And so wanted to invite a friend of mine, Daniel Elliott. He is the chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party, to talk a little bit about the election in general, but then specifically some of the things that are going to be down the ballot, other things, other offices besides president and some of the popular offices, governor, and so forth, things down ballot and why those might matter. So, Daniel, welcome to the program. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Todd. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
Well, it's my pleasure. And this is important stuff. It's important that folks understand, and I know our listeners, that they follow this closely, but even the most seasoned follower of politics can find themselves in a voting booth and looking at a particular race and think, I don't know who the people are. I may not even be sure what this office does. Explain to us why the races down ballot, why those matter.
Well, one of the key things about why down ballot races matters, because those are the front lines when it comes to interactions between the citizens and the residents and their government. When you think about your city streets, that is somebody down ballot. When you think about the streets in your county, if you live out in the country, those are the folks down ballot, your commissioners, your council. When you think about when you're paying your property taxes, all of that happens at the local level. And these are things that, believe it or not, people have a lot more direct ability to affect change, to be able to notice an issue. Just say something as simple as, there's some big potholes in my street. I can call up a local government official, a local elected official, or representative, and get those things taken care of. Some of the other things that, when we talk about down ballot, kind of more the middle of the ballot, tends to be things that deal with states. If you look at things like protection for the unborn, those are issues that are almost always decided at the state level. And so these are so important, because the individuals that you're selecting to represent you in these areas, they affect your life daily. Now, of course, we all support President Trump. We want to make sure we have good, strong conservative leadership in the White House, and that is important for larger policy decisions. But the day-to-day things that happen in your communities are all affected by people who are your neighbors, because you're voting on your neighbors to do those jobs.
So let's look at some of the state offices that maybe don't get the attention. Everybody knows about president. Everyone knows, really, I think, about governor as well. But what are some of those offices, state level offices, that you would want to draw folks' attention to here as they cast their votes here on Election Day?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, one of the first ones that we need to be paying attention to is the race for Attorney General. The Attorney General is the state's attorney. And of course, if that Attorney General is a strong conservative like Todd Huff, then you're going to have someone who is going to be fighting for the rights of the unborn. Our current Attorney General is well known for doing that, and has taken fights to the Supreme Court. If we had a Democrat like Weinzapple in that race, or in that office, he's not going to go forward and try to push for protections of the unborn, because he doesn't believe in protections for the unborn. If you look at things like states' rights issues, that sometimes, sometimes the federal government does get out of control, whether it's Republican or Democrat leadership. You need to have someone who's going to fight for states' rights issues. You're not going to find that in the Democrat, but you're going to find that in Todd Huff. A key issue that's happening right now is and it's front and center for all of us, is the issue of law enforcement and the needs for law enforcement to be able to get out there and protect us. Right now, the Democrats are oftentimes pushing for more restrictions on our law enforcement, whereas we need to have a strong law and order Attorney General out there like Todd Huff to make sure that we have someone defending our law enforcement and protecting us.
That's exactly right. And it doesn't take much time and effort to look at what is erupting all around the country, even in Indianapolis in the past year, with some of the out of control behavior and things. And law and order is certainly a factor to be considered. What about locally, Daniel? What are some local races. You get to some of these seats or some of these elected positions, and I'm not sure the average person can tell you anything about some of these things, like coroner or maybe treasurer, surveyor, those sorts of things. What are some things we should pay attention to? And again, why do those races matter as well?
Well, you mentioned coroner. I'll use that as a perfect example. Here in Morgan County, we have a coroner. Most people don't realize this, but the coroner, you know what a coroner does, but what they don't realize is it's a constitutional office. And because of that, it is term limited. You only get 2 terms as coroner. So we have a new person running for coroner. We've had good, strong Republican leadership in Annette Butcher for many years as our coroner. She's actually brought Morgan County to the forefront in leadership in doing some of the work that needs to be done for families and for issues that are facing us. A coroner almost always is the person on the front line dealing with the drug issue, dealing with it at its worst, with the death of someone. Or, of course, every time there's a car accident and unfortunately there's a fatality, that coroner is there. So you need to have good, strong leadership to make sure that these individuals are doing this job well, that they're doing it in a way that is fiscally sound. And we have that in good Republican leadership. Now, our new one, the new person running who's a Republican is Mike Ellis, and he's the current deputy coroner. Just know him personally as a friend, as well as seen him act professionally. And I cannot tell you, I've rarely seen somebody who puts so much heart into the job, but also has a great deal of skill. And it's important that people realize that in these types of jobs, this job, let's be honest, you and I don't want to do that job. Most people do not. Mm-hmm. It takes a very special skill set and a very special heart to do that job. And we are fortunate to have someone like Mike Ellis doing that, running for that. But when we look at the votes, we need to make sure that we're voting in those skills, those abilities, and that heart. And these jobs also you can move on to, say, county council. Right now, a perfect example on county councils is that they're making decisions about budgets. I happen to be a county councilman right now, and I can tell you, in our particular position in Morgan County, we would never, ever, ever consider defunding our sheriff's department. Just not going to happen. It isn't in our DNA. But that's why you need to make sure you have good Republican leadership, because that's happening in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm, and that's what's really, really scary. If you suddenly see, wait a minute, some of this stuff, this rhetoric you see happening in other communities could be hitting really, really close to home if you don't select the type of leadership. And in your local levels, it has a direct effect on you. In a case in point, something I'm very proud of as a councilman. Since I've been on the council, I've advocated every year to bring in new police officers, new sheriff deputies into our county. But you see in other communities where they're wanting to take away police officers. Well, I don't know about you, but I know in what I'm seeing, increases in drug usage, increases in crime. These are not things that we need to be shooting ourselves in the foot and keeping us from having the tools and the people necessary to figure these things out. And so that's where good conservative leadership helps make good decisions about your local community, and you get to have a direct impact on that and say, yes, I know Daniel, I know he's going to vote for this. And that's what's so key about these local races.
You're right. And I have a friend that you know as well. He's a Republican town councilman, and he's on the town council. And, there are the political ideological battle is being waged in this country at all levels of government. And we have to regain control at all levels, because I'm reminded, Daniel, back in 2000 when Florida was doing their recounts and hanging chads and all that stuff, the amount of local and state officials that were making very critical decisions as to how things proceeded there. And I think the average person may not really grasp that this ideological battle extends in a lot of ways all the way down the ballot and could, in certain circumstances, raise its ugly head. And there be circumstances where, like you said, police are defunded because we have a liberal council in, say, Indianapolis or what have you. So maybe talk a little bit about that, about how the ideology of the parties really does trickle down to all those local decision-making processes.
So that is a really excellent point. And you look at, say, a county like Morgan County, where it tends to be strong Republican, or Johnson County, also strong Republican counties. These counties have been very fiscally responsible. We've been very fiscally responsible. As we go into a pandemic, another pandemic year, as we look at the numbers, it looks like 2021 is still we're going to be in the midst of this pandemic. Morgan County, Johnson County, other Republican counties, they go into this difficult situation actually with a good amount of reserves. Why? Because they save money. They said, hey, we're going to save things back for a rainy day because we don't know when it's going to happen, but we know it will. And now we're in the middle of that rain, and we're able to still function and provide the services of government. You look at places like Indianapolis, they're having more difficulties. They're having, they have Democrat leadership, and they're having budgetary issues. They're discussing cutting funding for their police departments. They're discussing cutting funding for roads and streets. That's not happening in Republican-controlled counties. And this goes back to a really fundamental principle of conservative leadership, and that is, we only need to provide the services that we should be providing, and then we should be we should be taxing our folks as little as possible, our residents. But then whatever we do tax, whatever we do bring in as revenue, we should be very conservative and fiscally responsible with that, because we don't know when we're going to have a difficulty. Now that we're having that difficulty, we're able to show, oh, wait a minute, since I had, the analogy of money in the piggy bank, now I'm able to do things with that money that I couldn't have expected. A perfect example is during the midst of this crisis in Morgan County and in Johnson County, Republican leadership, because they were fiscally sound, they had money available to start buying the PPEs and other public safety supplies that were needed because of that. Indiana as a whole, $2 billion in reserves, yet you have Illinois right next door. And let's be honest, there is not a big difference between the people of Illinois and the people of Indiana. But Illinois is literally going to the federal government saying, we can't afford to do any of this stuff. You need to give us money.
Completely.
That is literally during these times of crisis. This is when you start to realize what's the difference between actual leadership.
That's right. And we've got to make those decisions sometimes before having any idea. No one knew COVID was coming, that sort of thing. So we've got to make these decisions based upon some really fundamentally important things. So Daniel, I would say last word for you here. What would you want to say to voters, those in our listening audience, as they are either preparing to, as they prepare to cast their ballots here for this election?
I would encourage you to vote for, of course, vote for Donald Trump as president. We want his continued leadership and have people like Amy Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court. Those are great and important reasons to get out and vote. But also, just as important, is to get out and vote for people like State Senator Rod Ray, for Mike Ellis, for your Republican county council, your Republican commissioners. These individuals are there to make sure things happen here in the local level, in the state level. And the leadership that they've provided has helped us enter into a crisis with our head held high and confident we're going to be able to get through the other side. So I would encourage you to vote for these Republican leaders now as we are in the midst of this crisis, because of their leadership. We've been able to continue through this crisis and still be able to provide the same types of services. So vote for those folks, get to know them, talk to them. The funny thing about it is you can actually call most of them on their cell phones and talk to them.
Yeah, it's important. This ideological battle runs all the way up and down the ballot. Daniel, you've helped shine some light on some of those races. I appreciate you taking time to visit with us today. This is Daniel Elliott, chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party. Daniel, let's hope we have a big Republican victory election night here
I'm counting
next
on
week.
it. Hey, thank you very much, Todd, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing, and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick.
Dial the number, spell the words.
For on time.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
If you filed for a 6-month extension on your taxes this year, October 15th is a crucial deadline. Many of the millions of individuals who filed for an extension have still yet to file before the October deadline. If you need help, call Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group, 317-288-5260. It's important to file your taxes before the deadline in order to avoid penalties. Even if you can't pay, or even if it's been a few years since you filed, you have to file that return this year. If you're facing a tough tax situation, Jody and the team at Midwest Tax Group can help you through it by filing any back taxes owed or even setting up a payment arrangement with the IRS. You need a professional you can trust with years of experience to help you avoid any tax pitfalls and make sure you get every deduction you deserve. And as Jody's client, you can consult with him year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260 or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com.
Welcome back, folks. Just have a minute here as we are, again, off schedule because of the interview. But look, it is important. Obviously, President of the United States is important. Obviously, if you have a senator on your ballot, that is important. Your representative, your U.S. representative from your district, wherever you are located, is important. But it continues beyond that. Your governor, if there's a governor on the ballot in your state, of course, many of you are from Indiana, you have that choice in Indiana. That's an important race. Up and down the ballot, Secretary of State, down, all the way down to town councilman, school board. Now, school board is a nonpartisan, they say, nonpartisan office. But anyway, these races matter. The ideology of the left, which has infiltrated and taken control of the Democrat Party, is very dangerous no matter where it is on the ballot, and it must be soundly defeated tomorrow. Quick timeout needed. Come back and wrap up. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Folks, that is all of the time we have today. But again, this election comes down to key states, as I've always known that it was going to. And your vote matters. Cast that vote today or tomorrow. I know that there's a lot of excitement here, and we need to start looking at what's going to happen. We got all sorts of scenarios that we need to talk about. By the way, I should tell you, tomorrow night, Election Day, we'll be on live. You can catch us on a lot of places, but including Freedom 95, starting at 9 p.m. talking about the returns, folks. So looking forward to that very much. Have a great day. SDGC tomorrow. Take care.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Hi, I'm Daniel Elliott, chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party. I'm excited that Hoosier Republicans and conservatives are eager to re-elect President Trump. But as you know, this ideological battle we're fighting runs all the way up and down the ballot. That's why I'm asking you to vote Republican from the very top of your ballot all the way down to the bottom of your ballot. Every election is important, and we must win as many of these elections as possible to ensure that we defend our liberties through constitutional limited government. We need your vote down the ballot for conservatives like Indiana Senator Rod Bray from District 37 and Morgan County Coroner Mike Ellis. If you love liberty and the Constitution, I'm asking you to join conservatives all across the Hoosier State and vote Republican all the way down the ballot. This ad is paid for by the Morgan County Republican Party.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indy Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indy Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.